That would,
No,
no, but that's how meetings start.
but I don't know that we're
Let's call Steve.
on the network.
4 people entered the waiting room.
Okay, hit that.
There we go.
All
Oh,
right.
good.
All right, I'm gonna
try to write down what I
Oh,
did.
yeah, did
Admit
you?
all.
Yeah, good.
Oh, yeah, middle. Hey, nice. Oh, there's John.
John Brooklyn Campbell's
Yeah.
on.
Oh, good.
All right.
You know what you did?
Kind of. I know half, Steve is the other half.
There's John. All right.
John, we've been struggling.
I was just about to give up hope, but here we are. So good job.
It was a new screen that we'd never seen before, some jam screen. And our icon wasn't there to click on. Okay. So,
Do you need the agenda? Have you got it? Is everybody?
I have it on.
Oh, okay, okay. You got
I
it on
clicked
there?
on that was the Heartland.
6:41.
Yeah,
We call the meeting to order, 6:41, November 5th. Meeting of
Heartland
the Planning
logo.
Commission.
There's nobody else waiting in the,
No, we've got Steve, Amy Ashline, John, and Kim Wood.
Okay.
And then the host. So, shall we go over any discussion on the meeting on the 22nd?
I move we accept them as written.
would you second that?
Okay, so the minutes, draft minutes from the 22nd are accepted.
No, we haven't voted.
Oh, I thought we.
Yeah,
I've done that
Sorry.
myself.
This is technical. We have a motion and a second.
We got the motion,
Yes, we have a
Do we
first,
approve
George, right?
the minutes as written, okay. So those minutes will be published, put on the town website, entered into. All right, tonight,
Do we have the October 1st or whatever our regularly scheduled meeting minutes?
I believe was it October 1st?
Yeah, we had a meeting October 1st.
Yes,
and then the hearing.
I think we already,
Well,
we approved
We
it.
haven't met, did we?
yeah, we haven't, yeah,
Yeah, that's a good.
Yeah, that's-
Because we
we
wouldn't have
didn't
met
meet.
unless we did it at the hearing, which we
We
did.
did not.
Yeah,
Okay,
all right, so I'll move that we approve October 1st as well.
does anyone want a brief overview of those minutes? We all good?
We read them before.
we've read them.
All right, was there a second?
Kate,
Okay. All in favor of approving the minutes from October 1st?
All right,
well,
All right, unanimous. Those will be entered into the record and then published. Okay. So tonight's agenda. Any comments on the agenda, any amendments, change in order?
no,
Is this okay for public comment?
Sure, sure.
go ahead.
I guess I just want to, my name is Amy Ashline. I'm a Heartland resident. I came to the public hearing and spoke. And I just want to formally state for the record my strong objection to the planning commission proceeding with a vote on the proposed town plan today. During the public hearing, significant issues and changes were identified and discussed. These changes are substantial changes in concept, meaning, or extent to the plan, and it was initially presented and warned for the public hearing under the Vermont law, specifically the 24 VSA 4442. Substantial changes require the commission to warn and hold a new public hearing before any vote can be taken. So proceeding with this vote now in disregard of the necessary changes to the public input reviewed is a procedural and a legal error and I request that this statement and my objection to be fully recorded in the official minutes of the meeting, and that the commission schedule a new public hearing instead of meeting to a vote.
It's being electronically recorded, and it will be in the minutes, your comments.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Can you tell us specifically what you think is a major change?
Yeah, and I mean, I think there was a lot of different discussions that came up. But specifically, sorry, let me look at my notes here. Specifically, I mean, the industrial changes area, those are significant changes, which definitely include no vacant land for business growth for those areas. I also specifically spoke of the specific areas that contradict themselves within the new planning regarding zoning and bylaws. And then there was also a list of items that I don't have that because they were meeting minute notes. But I think also my frustration to hear some stuff being just disregarded because a public meeting was given, input was taken, but it doesn't seem like from the select board meeting that I just heard you guys are going to kind of consider any of these changes or input them. So.
And,
We didn't make any changes.
We,
at that meeting.
That's why, yeah, if you could give us a page number or something that would, so we could at least get on the.
But that meeting was to seek comment and to note the comment. It wasn't to make real-time changes to that document. The document that we talked was the document that was put forth and warranted, and that is our document.
So the town plan wasn't ever intended to take public comment or insight to be discussed or considered? Because this was the only hearing that the town had to put input.
It was the only hearing that was held by the planning commission.
Yeah.
There's two more hearings that need to be held before this town plan is adopted, and those will be held by the select board. And what we're doing tonight is passing on the town plan that we did onto the select board.
Correct, but
it has not been changed
Right.
since the beginning of the last meeting. It is what it was.
correct.
Well, there's some typographical.
Well,
Yeah.
but we didn't even introduce those. We commented that, yes,
Yeah.
there were typographical and transcription errors, but
Are you saying that this town plan made changes from the old town plan? Is that what?
I'm specifically asking, you did a public hearing to get insight, comments, and concerns or changes that might be needed in this town plan, but you're not taking any of those into consideration or making those, and they're significant changes. So, I mean, to be blunt, why did you waste everybody's time to go there and give these comments if they're not going to be considered or changed or be taken into consideration? Because it's very frustrating.
Steve,
Can I comment?
Yeah.
Amy, can you hear me? This is Steve Cohn.
Yes,
All comments that were submitted either by email, either just before or after that open hearing, or any comments that were made during that open hearing have all been recorded. And as was mentioned earlier, the select board will be having 2 hearings. So my understanding is that this meeting tonight, the planning commission would approve the draft of the town plan as presented at the open hearing, as well as forwarding all of the comments or emails that have been submitted that would make substantive change to our draft. And they will all go to the select board so that they can review those and then hold 2 open hearings in which it may show where they've included some of those comments, or they will be able to explain why they did not include those in future drafts that would ultimately be approved and accepted by the select board as the new town plan. So the comments are not lost. They're all recorded. They've been recorded in a document that we will be voting on tonight that will be forwarded so that your input is not lost.
And what's the reasoning behind you not reviewing and incorporating it into the document and then pushing it off to the select board?
No, we're not pushing it off to the select board. We
The
drafted.
comments and concerns or substantive changes, you are not taking into consideration for changes, so you're pushing it off to the select board. That's the way I understood it.
Our responsibility was to draft the plan in accordance with all the research we did. And that's what we did. We don't implement it. We've approved our draft. That's where it does go to the town leaders.
Amy, I do hear what you're asking. You're saying, why can't we go back in, make edits that we believe would be appropriate, and then hold another open hearing to go back and approve another draft and then pass it on to the select board?
Yeah,
That would potentially mean that we would hold 2 hearings and the select board would hold 2 hearings. Rather than do that, I'm only speaking for myself right now. It made sense to me that we collect all that information, and then when the select board holds their 2 hearings, they would have good information to already go with, and then would be just 2 more hearings rather than a potential for 3.
May I ask a question? This is Kim Wood. Just to clarify, when you're saying that you're going to pass along the comments, you know, that all of the comments from the previous meeting were recorded and they'll be passed on to the select board, in what form? Like, is there, like, is there?
It's a Word document that references a specific page of the plan in what the comment was.
Is that, and I apologize if I probably should know this, but is that Word document like on the town website that we could see like what that is in addition to the town plan that's going to be forwarded to the select board? Or is, and I'm new to this, so please forgive me, but or is it more like you would pass on the town plan plus this Word document that has all the comments to the select board, and then when they do the first of their 2 hearings, those 2 documents would be available to the town people, like me and Amy or whoever else, to go to find them before that first select board hearing, to see, well, what are the comments that were forwarded, as well as the draft, which might is probably the one that's already on the website. I mean, I did go and find that. But
Yeah.
is that how it's gonna work?
I don't know that's how it's going to work.
Oh,
The select board will take into consideration the comments, and they will put forth a town plan that may or may not be amended as they see warranted. I don't know whether, I don't see any reason you can get a recording of the meeting, and these comments are certainly embedded within that, so I see no reason why the comments wouldn't be part of the public record.
where
Steve,
the-
wait a minute, just a minute, please. Steve, just so people know, is that people on the planning commission received a lot of work by Steve
Yeah.
that listed item by item, and I believe there's 6 sheets broken into 2 parts of what we copied, or what Steve copied from the meeting the other day. The first part of it were typo, factual changes, and suggestions. We have not worked on those yet, we haven't voted on those yet, but those do not require a second meeting, or they're not critical items, and that's why they're listed as factual changes or typos. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'll give you a couple of examples. The first one on the list of those typos is village center goals, number 1. Last word should be center, change it to plural. Those are the kind of factual changes that we could make tonight that would not preclude another meeting by us. So that's one set of facts. The other ones are discussion items brought up by townspeople at the meeting that at the moment, it seems to me that the planning commission will vote on this, but we will not make any factual changes that would require us to have a second meeting. And those just automatically go, and they're all written out. And I believe there's 5 typed pages that Steve did that will go to the select board. I'm happy to read one to give you a sense of it. Yes,
Jay, one quick point if I could. Kim, in answer to your specific question, will these documents be posted? I honestly don't know the complete answer to that. I do know that when the material arrives at the select board, they certainly, upon a request that came from you or the planning commission or whomever, a request that these comments be posted, you can always make that request. I don't know what the status of that request might be, but you could always make that request.
okay.
I'm gonna cut to quick on this, is that I'm gonna say, Steve, did you copy what you wrote to members of the planning commission for typos and suggested comments by other people? Do you know if those have been posted on the
No.
planning commission website?
They have not.
Okay,
Nothing has been, we have, I don't want to, we can get back into the agenda a little. What we need to do tonight as a planning commission is to approve the draft as it currently exists, approve the document that asks to make the typo and the factual kind of changes, approve the document that Kim is referring to that contains all the typos and the comments and the like. And if we can approve those, then any updates to the town plan will be completed, only completed insofar as the typo type, the non-substantial items will get changed. That new draft will get posted on the website. The question was, would the other comments that came through get posted? I would personally lobby for those to be posted, but I can't answer for the select board on that.
Okay, Steve, now I understand what you're getting at, and I think during the meeting and in the agenda, I'm going to make a motion that we accept the draft of the town plan exactly as it was submitted for the hearing and warned by the hearing. And that once we do that, we also will make available tomorrow morning all these, hang on, I'm looking.
The comments, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, that's fine. And that everything will end up with the select board in the end, for them to make a decision, for them to decide to approve typos and
I don't-
to approve the document.
I agree with everything that you are saying in concept, but as far as the application of it, I'm not sure. We can't, the planning commission doesn't automatically post something to the town website. That would have to go through John to make sure that that's okay with the select board and the town. Not that there would be anything wrong with it, but that's beyond our purview. That's my only hesitation about that. But,
John,
and
John, do you see a problem with that?
So I haven't seen the document in question. I do have, I guess we'll just dive into it now. I have concerns not about posting the document, but how how all comments were received. So to Amy's point, Amy raised questions in a public meeting. Those are obviously public comments. If individuals email the planning commission at heartlandvt.org email address with comments regarding the town plan, I don't know. I'm kind of thinking out loud whether those are comments that we would want to post online because they might have been shared, in essence, as private comments to the planning commission.
but those were, some of those, John, were solicited at that open hearing, that could be a way
Right.
for them to be submitted.
Right. So yes, it's clunky. I think Steve, you're spot on. Right. No matter whether they get posted online, which I have some concern about, or whether they just get distributed to the select board when the draft goes out to them. Either way, the select board and I will receive all of those comments and take them into due consideration.
I have no doubt about that one. I was just trying to address Amy and Kim about
Yeah.
making sure they could sort of follow the process.
Yeah.
But that's the right word, Steve, because, John, it is the process where it's not as if it's a handoff or this is the way it's supposed to work. The work product
Right.
is to go to the select board and the town leaders. And
John, I think you've heard us.
Okay,
So the process, I guess, can you guys explain the public hearing with the planning commission has nothing to do with this vote, because you're just passing those notes and public comment on with what you had before the meeting. So this vote has nothing to do with what you heard, even if there's a specifically, undisputable changes that are needed to this plan. It doesn't, is that what you're voting on?
Understand indisputable changes.
You want me to respond to that?
Yeah, go ahead.
The hearing was to solicit
Amy,
comment.
I don't believe that we are going to entertain the comments that we collected at that open hearing to a degree that it would cause us to include those changes in the draft that we currently have, then calling for a second open hearing. But we are going to, as we have, capture those thoughts and questions and comments so that when the next open hearing takes place, which would be hosted by the select board, that those comments will have been considered by the select board as they host that first of two open hearings that they will offer.
That is the process. The whole purpose of that meeting was to elicit comments from the public. And we heard divergent comments. Some people wanted this, some people wanted the opposite. It was to listen and to record and then pass on to the decision-making function. We created the plan, and the plan reflects all of the input we solicited in our judgment. And now that goes to the town's elected leadership and its appointed management, and they will act upon that.
Okay. I think we've personally, as the clerk who sends things in and out or receives things, I'm going to make a motion. And the motion I was going to say is that we're going to proceed, we should proceed with a vote on the town plan as presented, exactly as presented at our public hearing. There will be no changes made or entertained by us at this time, but we will also, along with the document that we approved, we will also send 5 odd pages of typos, suggestions, comments by whoever made comments. So the whole package will go, but we're only voting on the draft, as far as we're concerned, is done, and we're passing it on to the select board as such.
I second that motion.
Okay.
Can I propose an amendment?
Sure.
I don't think there's any reason not to include or not to approve the correction of the typos and the factual information that was incorrect. And so I think that should be the final document that we pass on to the select.
I don't agree with that, because there are people that have not seen what we consider to be factual typos.
Yes, I agree.
We should leave it exactly the way it was, let the select board look at our list of both typos and comments and be done. So I disagree, so I don't.
And by the way, that's not necessarily the end of our work. The select board may come back to us and say, look into this, do this, which we will do.
Could I
Steve?
ask that we have 3 motions? One motion
Wait
is
a minute,
for
Steve,
Yeah.
there's a motion on the floor and there's a second to it.
Then I'd discuss that motion. I would prefer that the motion only include the draft, because I would rather vote on the other 2 items, the typos and then all the comments, as 2 separate motions, so that they can move forward independent of each other.
Yeah, I think that is probably the better way to go.
Which was your,
Yeah, I would accept that amendment to my motion.
Okay.
So then your
So we're gonna-
motion is amended to only be voting on the draft.
At this
The
point,
draft that
yes.
was warned,
Right.
yes.
Yes,
Right.
but that was my motion. That was also my motion. Draft only to be voted
Oh,
on.
that's fine. I thought you were putting everything else in there.
No,
My bad.
just, okay, so I'm gonna take back the amendment to my motion, and all we're doing is voting on the town plan draft as presented at the public hearing, period.
At this, yes, this vote.
Yes,
That is the motion on the
Okay.
table. A second? Second. All those in favor?
aye.
Unanimous. Okay.
All right, now I would move that we vote on the typo and factual changes
Correct.
that were circulated to us, and there'll be a third vote on the other changes that were some of that were the comments that were
Comments,
offered
not
by.
changes.
That's
Yeah,
right,
comments.
yeah. 'Cause,
All right.
yeah, the typo and the factual changes, I don't think were included, didn't come out of the hearing. We found those ourselves after we had
We mentioned
distributed the
it, and we
document.
mentioned that because we hadn't warned a corrected
Right,
version,
right.
that we were going with the original with those errors,
Right.
and that would amend it post.
Okay, now, thank you for sort of giving a general summary. Now tell me what your motion is so I can write it down.
All right. That we vote on to correct the typos and the factual incorrect information.
No.
No, we're sending
No.
them on.
We're sending them
No.
all.
Just vote to move that document that has the typos and factual errors. Just vote on to move that forward.
Okay,
That's right.
all right. So now, Dan, give me a new motion so I can write it down.
Steve, you want to take a stab at it?
I forget the name of the document. It's in the agenda, but I move that the factual,
Typo and
typographic-
factual changes.
You have given it a title, Steve, and it's
I know,
called
I don't remember what it is.
Actual Changes.
I apologize. I'm on the road and I didn't have it in front of me.
Typo and factual changes.
Whatever it says.
Okay, so that's what we're voting on now.
Okay, I'm gonna read the motion back.
Please.
Well,
I move to approve and
They're forward.
move forward and to make the typo and factual changes and to forward those changes to the select.
Don't make them.
No,
We're passing them
no,
on.
no.
Yeah, we're voting
All
to
right.
pass them along to the select
Okay.
board. The select board may instruct us to make the changes subsequently.
Is there a second to Dan?
I second.
No.
No.
Yeah, all right, well,
Wait.
Withdraw
Read
your
it.
motion.
Read the
No.
motion.
no, I'm moving and suggesting that we send a corrected version to the select board. I don't think
No.
there's any reason for
No.
the select board to have to
No.
act on typos.
No.
Okay, the motion, as I understood it, was to forward the typos and factual information changes. And this is what we're missing in this whole conversation. They go through Two Rivers to the select board. The select board had chosen to have Two Rivers manage the copies of the drafts that were ultimately going to be in our hearing and that were going to move forward to the select board. So the process, I believed I'd sent a cover sheet, but I apologize if it didn't show up, but I think it's there.
You did.
Okay. That information goes to Two Rivers. They will work with the select board. And then the select board will go and host their conversations and their open hearings, et cetera.
Okay, maybe my confusion is semantic then. So when you say forward,
Literally forward.
okay, all
And
right.
actually, I have a clearer one. Can I read it?
Yep, go ahead.
Will you withdraw your motion, please?
I'll withdraw my motion.
I'm proposing a vote, and the vote is to forward the typo and factual changes of 11/5/25 to Two Rivers and
Select board.
and the select board. That's
Yeah.
it.
The cover letter going to TROC is brief.
I'm sorry?
The cover letter that would be accompany the transmission to TROC is brief.
Yes.
Do you want to hear it?
Let's-
don't, it's very succinct. You want to hear it?
I'll hear it.
Yep, go ahead.
To TROC, we have completed on 22nd October 2025, open hearing and have received feedback from many sources. We have met at a regularly scheduled November 5th, 2025 meeting and are ready to submit the results of that meeting. The Planning Commission voted to accept the town plan draft and voted to accept the minor changes.
We're not.
That we're not, we'll amend that.
No. Wait a minute. You know what? I made a motion on the floor.
Okay,
Do I have a second?
I see.
Second.
All those in favor?
You want?
Aye.
Fine.
It's unanimous.
All right.
Otherwise,
Yep.
yeah, I think you were getting a little, yes, we're getting hung up on the approve. We're approving to send it to them.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Okay, there is one other thing in the agenda. To vote to forward comments from the hearing and submissions to the select board as made on 11/5/25. So this motion is, do we send the comments that Steve made as comments? Do we send them off to the select board?
Well, if the select board set up the process, all the documents flowing through TROC, wouldn't we send them to TROC?
Well,
My suggestion and my understanding is that the document that is the 1022 draft, the documents that contain the typo and factual, and then another document that contains all the comments, plus the typo and factual, color-coded, will all be sent to the Planning Commission, to the Select Board, and to Two Rivers. Because Two Rivers will take and make a judgment in some cases about, do those typos, are they a significant change or not? And they will have the state statute to guide them. Once that's cleaned and all of those files that are there, that stuff will get forwarded to the select board. They'll always already have a copy of it to look at beforehand. But then it'll all be cleaned and arrive at the select board, and they will begin their process.
But the select board is gonna have before they have a hearing, the select board will have to publicize a draft.
That is correct.
Right, now, but their draft, will that include the typos?
I can't answer that one.
So, but we're leaving it up to them.
My,
In other words,
Dan,
the draft they get from us will not have the corrections from the typos, but we'll say, here's,
no,
identify them and
no.
it'll be in Two Rivers' hands. That was, a request that, really sort of facilitated through conversations with the select board. And as a result, we're passing everything through Two Rivers. My guess, and that's a terrible thing to say, but my guess is that any changes or anything will be done very quickly. And the select board, and John is listening now, the select board understands that part of the process and will realize that that information is going to get to them in some form. And then they can also go through and make some choices of their own. If they want to change a draft even further before their first hearing, they can certainly do that if they choose to.
Right. But my understanding is that Two Rivers isn't going to make any changes on their own. They're just, all they're doing is maintaining, the official draft. But they're not gonna decide whether the typos go in the draft that's forwarded to the select board. They don't want to do that, and that's not their role. That's why I'm saying I think we should decide tonight that the version we send to Two Rivers makes the correction for the typos, so Two Rivers knows that we want a corrected document, and they forward that to the select board, and the select board can then say, no, we don't accept, we want to go back to before you change the typos. And they should also consider the public comments that we received at our hearing, which we're sending on to them. But we're not asking any of those to be incorporated into the draft at this point.
But didn't Steve just say that he thinks Two Rivers wants to see?
They want to see, and I've spoken with Two Rivers, they want to see the document, the final document that we think should be the draft that the select board that gets forwarded to the select board. Two Rivers doesn't want to decide the form of the draft. They don't want to decide whether the typos go in. We decide whether the typos get corrected.
But why doesn't the select board just handle the business? We pass it on to them what the comments are, and what we saw is that. And then it's.
We could do it that way, but it just seems to me that if we know there's typos in the document, why don't we correct them?
Well, we do, but people out there don't know what their typos are, and people may have an issue with those typos are. Let everybody see exactly what we have, and let the select board deal with everything.
If the people have an objection to the typos, they will, if the select board incorporates the corrections in their draft, people will see that the select board's draft differed from our draft. Because
No, but our draft is not a draft anymore. We voted on it. We're done with it.
But who is good? Do you think that that the public is going to be upset that we didn't let them comment on typos?
I
don't understand why the public is very concerned maybe about the comments that they made at the hearing. And those are the incorporation. All we're doing is forwarding those comments without taking further action on them. But it's our responsibility to correct the typos.
Dan.
Yeah.
I'm comfortable submitting all the draft as it currently exists, the two files that address typos or comments or what have you, and pass that into the pipeline with the select board ultimately receiving them. And we've already voted that these were typos that we have identified or factual errors, and that they can take them and put them into that draft that they receive, as long as they agree with them, and move it forward, rather than we try to sit here and go back and make those changes, because I believe there was some conversation somewhere where we were asked not to make those changes.
Well, we
were
were
asked
asked not to make them,
Substantive changes.
and not make them in advance of the hearing, because we hadn't warned that particular document.
Right.
And any change, no matter how minor, is a change.
And what we're doing tonight is deciding, having had the hearing now, do we want to keep the town plan, the one that we warned for the hearing, or do we want to clean it up, at least with just typos? Because that is something that we don't need to have another hearing about, because we're not making substantive changes. We're just writing a clean document.
You know, we could do that, and we can discuss that for a long time. Personally, we have the documents there with the information that the select board can take and make those changes, rather than we delay to move that forward. I think it's.
There's no delay. There's no delay. We're perfectly allowed to make typographical corrections in our document and then forward it to the
Who's
select
gonna
board. We
make
don't have to have another hearing for that.
No.
Who's gonna make those changes?
When? We gonna do this tonight, Dan?
Tonight.
No, you know what? I'm gonna go
You're not
back.
gonna get me, I can't do it tonight.
Okay.
What do you mean tonight? What can't you do? All you have to do is vote on it.
No.
We can take a few days to actually forward the document.
I completely agree with what Steve says, and I would like to have a vote on this planning commission. Exactly what Steve said is that we submit this tonight. We've already passed one motion that the typos are going out, they're not going into the document, they're going out. I think George, Kate, John, what are we gonna do? I disagree with Dan.
All right, yeah,
I think
we'll take a vote.
what we should do is exactly
Just
what
send
Steve said.
Here's the question, though. Everything goes to Two Rivers and then to the planning commission?
Yes, Two Rivers is the planning commission has designated Two Rivers as the keeper of the
Right,
document.
so everything goes to Two Rivers.
Rivers.
And so,
But Two Rivers won't make any substantial changes
It's
unless
okay.
we tell them to. So they're gonna send to the select board this town plan with the documents that Steve did. And we're gonna leave it to the select board to weed out typos from public comments.
Correct.
That's the way you want to do. I don't think the select board is gonna necessarily appreciate that, but
so
They
technically,
would
I
come
think,
to us and say,
I believe that they will be happy to receive this document or documents so that they can begin their deliberations to move forward.
you're
Exactly
saying
right.
the select board or Two Rivers?
All of them.
Right, everybody.
Okay, so technically, we would forward both the typo and factual changes document and the comments document first to Two
And-
Rivers.
So there would be 3 files that would go forward.
To
Yeah.
Three Rivers, and then they send it to the select board.
I'm gonna send it to the select board so they can begin looking at it as well.
All right, we've got 2/3 of that problem solved because we have 2 motions already. The third motion that I believe is on the floor, that has a second, is that we're going to read it just as it is in our agenda. Vote to forward comments from hearing and submissions to select board changes of 11/25. 1, 2. That's what's in the minutes. So
Say that again. It's on the agenda.
it's on the agenda. Vote to forward comments from hearing and, actually, comments and submissions to the select board. So we have comments and suggestions that Steve has written up, and those are going to Two Rivers. But Steve was
And the
also
select board.
To the select board.
To select board. That's the motion.
So to both the select board and Two Rivers.
You will get an email from me after this meeting that will have been sent to the planning commission, to the select board, and to Two Rivers.
Okay. Okay, that's the motion that's on the floor. It has a second. Do you want to call a vote, Mr. Chair?
Yes. How many approve, or who approves that
Aye.
motion is passed? Steve, what are you doing?
What are you doing?
I'm gonna vote yes.
Okay, okay.
I'm voting no.
One, we've got one. Okay.
You okay?
I choose not to vote.
Okay.
One abstention.
We gotta
So
write this
one
down.
no and one abstention.
One no, one abstention, 3 yes.
Four,
Four.
four
Yep,
yes.
sorry. 4 yes. Motion passes.
All right. Next on the
Next meeting date.
agenda. Well, the next meeting date will be, what, December, what is it, the 3rd?
Yes, December 3rd.
Any need for any meeting or discussion prior to that date?
Don't think so. That I can-
No, hey, Steve,
Yes,
I assume you're not going to make any changes to, to the documents that you've already sent to us. Is that
that is
correct?
correct.
Okay. In which case, as clerk, I will also file these on the listserv for anybody that wants to see them and on our website.
Even though he's not.
Whatever the,
He
whatever the
changes.
process.
No, because I don't think that information is on our website at the
No,
moment.
what I mean though is, even though he's not changing, I'd prefer to take them from the email he's sending
Fine,
as an official email.
fine. Oh, as opposed to
Yeah,
what
yeah,
is
it's
on.
what we've got now.
That's
I-
fine.
Yeah,
I mean, I get worried.
Okay, so what goes on the town website?
On the planning commission at heartlandvt.org.
Right, but what,
What documents?
I would request that that process include John Brooker Campbell,
mhm,
because it is the town website.
yep, yep.
Fine.
Thank you.
So we're sending them to John, and John will post them.
John will get a copy of it 10 minutes after this meeting.
Got it. No, clear.
We're definitely not posting it on the website in 10 minutes, Steve.
But you're getting it for me in 10 minutes because you won't get it after that because I will be thousands and thousands of miles from here.
Fair.
How do we find out about the select board's activities?
They will warn all their meetings, and so there'll be plenty of advance notice about when they're holding their hearings.
Okay, is that on the listserv?
It's up to them whether they post it on the listserv, but it'll be,
On the town website.
yeah, it's on the town website. All their meetings and agendas are on the town website,
In the minutes.
and the minutes of their previous meetings.
So I would need to just go back regularly until I see something?
Well, the select board meets, once, at least, twice a month, so, if you
Is
check
that
the
is that right?
website
Okay,
frequently, yeah, so just,
The
you'll see
first-
the latest warning for their agenda.
They
Okay.
meet the first and third Mondays.
oh, thank you.
Tim, do you mind if I jump in?
Yeah,
Just to be clear, we're kind of just starting into budget season, so I do not anticipate the select board picking this up until at least December. So there will be a little gap here.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Of course.
and just to close the circle on it now, Amy and Kim, you both had concerns. They haven't been resolved directly tonight, but in terms of what you learned, does that help you with your concerns and how they will be addressed or how they may be addressed?
The information that I got was really helpful about the procedures, and I'm really new to the content of a town plan. So yes, the information that I've gotten at this meeting has been helpful for me. That answers your question.
It does. I don't want you, leaving this discussion frustrated or upset. That isn't our intent.
For me, I feel like it's a bit frustrating to go to a public hearing and to see and listen to a lot of participants that give comment, because as you can see, there's very few, unless it's something that has been told by many. And so when there are participants and there are comments and they are valid, my expectations for this vote was that the town plan was going to be a complete updated plan from the planning commission. So I'm still a bit frustrated and maybe confused on why you're not making all those updates. And then passing that on to the select board once it's completed.
Yeah, I wish we could bridge that gap. I believe we are passing that along to the select board. It's not yet integrated
Right,
into the town plan,
a hearing
but
selection.
we are passing along the literal comments and suggestions. If you go back to the beginning of the process, and it's a lengthy one, we solicited all manner of town input. That is how we began this process. We built off the existing document and we updated all of the public commentary, and that was our guide. And at some point, we believe we've prepared a finished product that will now go to the town.
Yeah, I think my final comment on this is that from when a townsperson like myself could actually review this document and try to stay awake at night, sorry if this offends any of you guys, to get through 100 and, this lengthy document, it was the only time that we could have public comment, so it seems like it's the
No.
time that it would be taken into consideration when things were brought up, and it just seems like it's just it is getting kicked down to the can, for the select board. But I thought you guys that have had this and are so familiar with it would take those comments and kind of give a finished product.
But we have, hi Amy, it's Kate Donahue. But we have had open meetings, since 2022. Always open to the public to be here. And some people have come and commented
And we've published our minutes.
and published our minutes.
And there's the recording, so. And we know we're never going to satisfy every member of the community. A lot of members of the community have input into this process. And what you just said about reading that document, we're very appreciative of that. That's exactly what community government is about. And I know they'll be considered. I don't know what the outcome will be. That isn't our responsibility. Now it does go to the elected leaders.
Yeah, and the select board is free to make any changes they want, and they're gonna hold 2 hearings, so there's gonna be plenty of opportunity for input in the future.
And then where do those comments get forwarded to? Like,
Well, it'll be similar to the hearing will be similar to the one we did, but it's up to the select board whether they want to incorporate any of the comments into their final town plan. The town plan
and
is.
that's what I thought you guys would do. Is
No.
Yeah.
We created the work product. That was our charge. We do not implement or authorize or make the town plan. That goes to the elected leaders. We've given them the work product. They will amend it if they see that is warranted, and then they will approve it or not, or approve a changed document. That's how that'll work. It is not in our domain to approve it and make it the current controlling document. That's not what we do.
I understand that, but it's fine. You guys have your opinion, and I think that's where I'm kind of feeling is that I know you guys have put a lot of time and effort into this, and that I don't want to undermine that because I know that it's had a lot of work. I think public comments need to be considered, and I thought that's what the time was going to be taking into consideration. So,
Well, if we want to follow this really closely, then it seems like if like what I would want to do is to have those 3 documents, the plan, the public comments and the typo document, the 3 documents, and then whatever the select board does, like they'll warn a meeting and present what they're going to present. And so that I, as a concerned citizen, could have those 3 documents that you've worked on so hard, that you've presented to the select board and see, and then get what they provide for their hearing, and then compare to see if I agree with what the select board has done with the work of the planning commission. Is that like how?
Well, so that what you just said, that is in the works. The town manager, he's going to review those documents. He put forth one concern, whether any of the comments were made with confidentiality and whether there could be reason those wouldn't be entered into the public record. But otherwise, I think those documents will.
Yeah, I'd like to just make the observation that the last couple of sentences, I think were an accurate description of the process that was intended and is still intended by the system, okay? Our government, what we're doing in this room, all the citizens, that goal is still intended as things now stand. And I just think that, boy, we need to realize that, because this is where it's going and where it has to go by whatever you want to put on it, right? Law, implementation skills, and so forth. And I hope that we can preserve and appreciate and take what has been the labor of years and not go back and start again. We've got to work with what we've got. And that process is mandated.
So is it, we agree that the purpose of a hearing from the Planning Commission's point of view is to solicit comments, which we now have, and which then go forward
Yeah, just the only thing I'd add to what Tim had commented on, there's going to be, keep in mind that we're only required by statute to have one hearing, and we did it. The select board is required to have 2 hearings, so you're going to get 2 more bites of this apple, so.
Any other business?
I had a brief item. The Two Rivers has suggested that now that we're done with the town plan, that we start the process of ordinances.
Yeah.
And so we don't have to talk about it further tonight, but I just wanted to maybe put on the agenda for next meeting, because is that we should at least reach out to Two Rivers and see what they think.
So when they had suggested that, I thought, well, what they will do, I'll learn something. So if it's a teaching exercise, that would be good. But otherwise, before we work on ordinances, do we need guidance from the select?
Yeah, but well, the select board has voted, apparently, John can correct me if he's still here, that they support the concept of ordinances. And so.
So we've been tasked with doing some of the foundational work?
Well, we're tasked with at least moving the process now and working with Two Rivers, because we're going to need a lot of help on this.
We should discuss it, because that's at least as large a project as the town plan.
Hey, would you do me a favor? Would you send me a note, just summarize what you, usually if someone talks to the select board, the rest of the planning commission hears about it. Could you just send me a brief note as to what John said, or what you remember, what John said about it?
Yeah, it was on the record. Look back because I'm not sure either. I just.
What record should I look at?
The select board minutes.
That's okay, but usually if a member of the planning commission talks to someone, then usually I'm used to getting an email back from somebody in the planning commission saying, oh, by the way, I talked to John and he said X, Y, and Z.
It was brought to my attention that the select board had done that. So.
I don't even talk to them. You're aware that they put the minutes out, is that right? You didn't talk to them.
I'm aware that the select board did that at its meeting. But I don't know any details beyond that. So, I didn't talk to the select board about it. No.
That would be another big adventure. Looking forward to that.
We've been pushing it for as long as I've been on the planning commission, and so if we finally have a select board that's receptive to it, let's follow up.
Okay. Other things we should discuss tonight, or will we adjourn tonight and reconvene on the 6th or 3rd of December?
Adjournment is the next item on the agenda.
So the next meeting is
December 3rd.
And is there a discussion, or is there an agenda item for this evening's meeting?
No, we worked through all the agenda items for this evening.
No, the agenda that we had, I'm asking whether for the December meeting, there's an agenda item for status post or where we're at now. I assume that will occur, but I think there should be a spot where people say, well, the process is ongoing, and the next time for the planning commission to have a meeting is the one in December, and not get into the mishmash of trying to say, well, who's going to say what to whom when. That I see as an operational problem. And that's an observation for the end of tonight's meeting. I don't know as we need to do any more than assure me that this is on the agenda for the December meeting.
If I could make a suggestion.
Sure.
And if I don't hear back from people within 5 days of the next meeting, I send an email out saying, hey, what should be on the agenda?
You do send a draft, but is that what you're saying something different, aren't you?
I'm saying I would like to see a affirmation that the December meeting will include, if necessary or appropriate or wanted, this meeting, the process of this meeting.
Could I offer,
What's that?
could I offer that on the agenda will, for December, would include an update on the draft town plan process
Good,
as
yes.
one item, and a second item, clarification and directive from select board to consider bylaws. And by that time, we
That's
can
cool.
have something like, because I didn't know that, I hadn't followed the select board meeting, but for us now to have some clarification that is giving us this charge.
Yeah, I think you've answered what my intent is, and to get that
Process.
out in the open, the process
yeah,
issue.
Yeah,
Because I,
got it.
you know, and I'll say what worries me is that you then have to have a big decision as to, well, do you want to do this in December or not? I'd say let's decide now, so it's there, and you've got the process firmed up, and we know where we're going.
Okay, that's why I usually don't ask for agenda items for a month ahead, because the minutes are going to come out in another 5 days, and it's going to answer your question on what we talked about and what we concluded. So that's going to be out in 5 days. What happens in, 4 more weeks, see what develops then, and then it'll go in the agenda. And if you want to remind me, I'm always, I copy everybody to say, hey, what do you want to put on the agenda? But don't forget, the minutes are coming out in just 4
Well,
or 5 days.
I hear you, and I appreciate the observation. I'm concerned about losing the place of process for this. And if we wait 4 or 5 days, who knows what the hell is going to happen? But I don't know what's going to happen. But and about this issue, I just say it, but okay, I still think that it would be a good idea to have the process affirmed.
Okay, well, Steve did make a
Yeah, he did.
proposal.
He did. He clarified what I was trying to say. Yeah.
A movement to adjourn?
So moved.
Second. All in favor of adjourning?
All right,
We're adjourned at 7:53.
thanks, Tim.
Kim and
Yes.
Amy, thank you very
Yeah.
much for your
Yeah, thanks to everybody
participation.
who signed on tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you. You have a good night.
There, thanks
Good night,
again.
guys.
Bye.
Steve saying.
Steve?
Bye, Amy.
Steve,
Steve?
Yeah.
Okay.
Steve said.
have a good trip.
Yeah.
Thanks.
It's not fair. Let me think about that, but I'm not sure. Perhaps other people. But my head was in the thing that I said before I heard clearly what he said.
Mine was even further.